Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Max Verstappen Division Season 2, Race 12. And we're at a very sunny, scorchy. Get your sunglasses on. Get your suntan lotion out. We're in Monza, the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. Or, like I aforementioned said, not just Monza. Located just outside of Milan. And we are at the fastest track on the calendar. If you got the need for speed, this is where you want to be. And as you can see, we've got 11 drivers joining us today, but one or two missing. There's quite a few actually missing today. A mixture of school, holidays, work, blah blah blah, all the boring stuff, but we do have 11. Race winner from last week, Coke Man, is not with us, but FaZe Walker, his teammate, is. And he's actually the first one on the track, so we'll keep an eye on him. But Piero and Marty, McLaren drivers, looking very strong at Spa last week. And both looking to follow up again. And yeah, it's quite a popular track, this one. It's a very short one. A lot of people do it online, so everyone is very well known with this track, and I'm expecting very good performance. We had a low standard of driving last week, and I want to see a lot higher standard, like I said. And we'll start on a hot lap with Mr. FaZe Walker as he opens up his DRS down the 1.1 kilometre start-finish straight down to turn 1. And you want to brake as late as possible, going from 350 kilometres down to 70. You want to turn in late into turn 1 so you can open up turn 2. Straight down Curva Grande, where we'll probably see one or two overtakes, whoever gets better traction off turn 2. You want to hug this inside line though for quali, and then brake down into turn 4 of De Regia. Again, turn in on turn 4 and open up the corner of turn 5, cutting the corner. First Lesmo, let off a little bit. We want to go, sort of was a little bit reserved on that corner. Second Lesmo, cut the inside curb. Again, you want to utilise as much of the outside curve as possible and go take as much speed through the corners. DRS is open, going down to turn 8, the start of the Ascari chicane, and it's always a tricky one. You want to turn in earlier than you expect. Right, and when he goes into the wall, and he's out. And it's going to claim one or two victims. As I think, who's next to finish off? It's Gio in the RB as he goes down to the final turn 11 of Parabolica. You want to go out and in with this one. Touch the apex as you go out on the outside, then go hug the right hand side as Gio takes the first flying lap of a 24. As it's Piero coming next to 29, so he's got plenty of time to find. I think the Ferrari's invalidated of Bones, gone into the pits. Or has he got... I think he might actually have a quali ban, if I do remember rightly. As Noodles is just starting his flying lap. His teammate has just gone into the pits. As Roy's coming over the line and goes with a Roy McCoy. Recently joined FIA. Currently P2 at 25. Adjay 20.7. So they're not as quick as I expected them to be. I think Centre Bake is coming over the line. No, he's just... I think he's doing another hot lap here. Olinus on the medium is going to 1:23.2. So let's see who's coming round on a hot lap then. It's Gio, who I don't think is on another one. He is not. I think he's going to be diving in the pits yet. Piero. Mr. Noodles on his first flying lap. Very good race pace. He tends not to perform as well as he thinks he should on a Saturday, but when it comes to the race, he's very consistent. And saying that, goes at provisional P3, the 20.6, which I think he'll be currently happy with. Next coming down. I think it's going to be diving in the pit, so Roy McCoy will be going in for his pit stop. RJ2 will be diving in. And Marty setting his first flying lap on mediums. Came P3 last week, like I said. And he's looking quite handy on those mediums and goes provisional pole of the 20.3 on the mediums. I am predicting potentially a low 119s, high 118s for pole lap, but I'll be surprised as the Ferrari of Beau is invalidated. Has he come off? I think he's just slowing down, setting himself up for the next. Yeah, there's no damage, so he's setting himself up for a flying lap. Snoodles is looking on an in lap now. We'll stick on with Adji then, who's going to fly and lap. He's slightly down on his time. Has still got plenty of time to find, and you can find that time. It doesn't, no, he's pulled out. Is that Holiness on a flying lap? No. I think it's a Williams. The centre back went up to P3 just behind his teammate. Teammate's 7 seconds down, so he's not on a flying lap. Marty coming round, whether he's going to be doing another flying lap or going in the pits. Andrade on a first out lap. I'll just check if anyone else is doing a flyer. No, centre back is still doing an out lap there too. So everyone is now doing out laps. So we'll jump on with Beau. A bit of wing flying there. Was that contact with another driver? I think Gio get a bit close to him. He's using his slipstream. Beau with a 21.5, so currently the back end's got wing damage. Gio using him for a bit of slipstream, but we'll jump on with Andrade. As he's just got set the fastest first sector coming round the Lesbos. Nice and wide there. Again, you don't take as much speed through these corners. Utilise the straights. DRS is open. Like a letterbox, you've got mail. And then through the Ascari where we saw FaZe Walker go flying, and centre back has collided with Beau and got a penalty. How has this happened in quali, guys? Come on. How are you touching each other? You should be well out the way in quali. Andrade comes over the line and currently P10s for 20.8. So I think a bit more time to find for him. Pierre is now nearly 6/10 up on his time, which will take him to the 20.3, so potentially provisional pole if he's managed to keep this pace up. Crosses the line, hugs that right side, goes P3, the 24, but Gio follows behind with a 19.8, so the first one in the 19s. And I think that slipstream from Beau has helped a lot. Beau, I think, is going in the pits now. He's got damage. And everyone is now just diving in the pits. Wade coming round. His teammate. McLaren's just being slow. I think they're potentially looking to work together. Is Pierre Fieri going to give Marty? It looks like it's going quite quick. I would have thought he'd slow down to try and give Marty a bit of a slipstream. Down the start-finish straight, maybe. He could potentially do with holding up a bit, letting Marty catch up. Yeah, probably hasn't listened to team orders. Does it look like they're racing a little bit? I'm pretty sure he's just going to be diving in the pits here. If it was me, I would have waited for my McLaren teammate. selfish. So we jump to Mart again to see what he can do on the softs. So set this 20.3 with mediums. Let's see what he can do on the softs. Down. Rettifilo. Turn late in turn 1. Cut the curb of turn 2, but you want to straighten the car up as much as possible. Take the inside line of Curva Grande. That's where you would go and defend. Into turn 4, and then you want to, it's basically the opposite. Ooh, almost on the gravel. On the first Lesmo, and again you want to take as much speed as possible. I think he could have gone a bit, taken a bit more speed through there. Again, he's just didn't utilise the curves as much as possible. It is a tricky track though. It's got minimal runoff areas, which is one of its defining features. With gravel tracks and with barriers lurking so close to the track as well, you've got to exercise caution and avoid any errors. But this is qualifying. Push it to the max. Go big or go home. There's no point in tiptoeing around any of these fast corners. As he comes around the Parabolica. End his lap. Just the 11 corners. And he hasn't improved, so he's down on his time. Is he starting a fresh lap? Has he got enough fuel in his... it did look pretty slow, especially coming out of the second Lesmo, so I think he slowed down. It did look like he slowed down. There's Adjay. He's 3/10 off, which will get him up to P3 potentially. And he's actually down loads. Game fools me. And McCoy's on an out lap. So we'll check on how Noodles is doing. He's just over 2/10 down. He needs to find plenty of time in this final sector. Again, it looks like he's pulled out of this lap from his position on track. He's going to dive in and come straight back out again. There's no point in wasting any time. It'll save some life in the tyre. Pierre's coming out for potentially his last flying lap. Centrebake is down as well, so he's diving straight in. Bo is coming round and goes up to provisional P2 of the 22, so set a fantastic lap. He had a bit of an issue on his last run out, but comes P2 with just over 4.5 minutes to go. Get in and get back out again. On Roy McCoy, who's just slightly down. Just over 100th down. Still can find plenty of time. Can he find at least another 1 or 2 tenths to get him up a couple of positions? Comes over the line. And, pretty much matched his time from his previous lap. There's Adjay. He's down, so he's going to be trying again. Holiness is diving in. He's not going to improve on his time either. I think this is a flying lap from Pio Fierro, looking to get back up to the top. Crosses the line and goes provisional P2 with a 19.8. So the second one that's in the 19s. 300ths behind Gio in provisional pole. Estrada gets himself up to P9. And we're going to see some times flying in this final runs. And I don't mean in your pants. There's Roy is down on his time by 6.5 seconds as he pulled out of this lap and going for another run. Looks like he's warming his tyres up, so going for another run. Slightly ahead of his Williams teammate for today. He's going again. Archie's invalidated, so he's not going to improve. Has he got enough fuel in his tank to go again? There's Holiness comes out for his final flyer. Fiera's down, so he's going to be diving in. I think that's him done. I don't think he'll get in and back out again in time. So his highest he will start will be P2. Friday will be the same. The highest he will start is P9. Centre back starts his final flying lap. Noodles is just starting his out lap. That's Marty behind. Roy McCoy. See how he's doing. It doesn't look like he's on a flyer, but he is. He's just under 2/10 up, which is not enough yet to get him up to P4. But can he find any extra time in this final sector, which is basically one corner? You need to perfect this, hug that right hand side, improves, but not enough to get him higher than P5. So the highest he will start is P5. So I think that's Holiness coming around to start his final flyer lap. Who is that one? I can't get that column. It is Holiness. We'll jump on Santa back then, who's almost 4/10 up. That's plenty of time found, and this is a time to get him up to provisional P3. If he's smashed that final corner, and he does, P3 19.9, so almost getting himself in a decent position. Again, I don't know if that's really allowed. We'll have to speak to the stewards about that one. It's a bit sus that if you're on opposite teams working together. So Marty is slightly up in his time, but stays P5. Roy is down, so he's not going to improve. Holness is down, almost 4/10, so he's not going to improve. He's not going to find that in the final sector. Got Noodles, who's up 1.5 tenths. But he's at the back, so that was his teammate who's already finished. Got centre back who's aborted his lap, so he's not going to improve. I don't know what Bo's doing. He needs to calm down. He'll blame it on his wheel again. Not having that. Go to a Gio. He's actually down on his time, but improves on the final sector at 19.6. We'll see what Noodles can do. He says he's down, and he's diving in the pit, so he's lost some time since we last saw him. And that is everybody. As Noodles jumps into the pit, there is centre back who dives straight in because he aborted his lap. And Gio takes pole. Yes, I will, personally for me, and when I've worked in leagues before, I say worked, this doesn't work, I don't get paid. My experience in other leagues is that it's a bit unfair if you're helping other teams improve their times. I know they don't have their teammates with them, but it's not fair on the other teams when they've got double drivers there. But it's not for me to say. And this is the lineup. Gio taking pole then with a 19.6, and Pio Fierro, who got P2 last week, starting P2 on the front row with Gio. Centre back P3, he'll be happy with that, but he's got a 5 grid penalty, so it would promote Bo. Marty will go to the second row as well. Roy McCoy and Noodles on the third row. Add Jay Andrade on the fourth, and Holiness and FaZe Walker. FaZe Walker crashing out on his first run out on the Ascari. Have a say in the chat who we reckon's going to win this. I'm going to say who's going to win. I think, and it's nice and sunny, good, nice sunny race. If there's rain, there's something wrong. It never rains in Italy. It pours. I think I'm going to go with, I think Piero Fiero is going to get the win. I think Marty's going to get P2. And I think, yeah, I've just, oh yeah. As I speak, you come. Yes, I think Piero Fiero is going to get 1, Marty's going to get P2. And I reckon FaZe Walker is going to come from the back of the grid to get P3. That's my prediction. Everyone is just so they're just sorting out their strategies, sorting out their tyres and their fuel. I think for my strategy would be medium to hards, pit around lap 13. But there might be 1 or 2 that will start on. I do wish it for you, but sometimes you just end up fading off a little bit. But I hope you do. You got. What am I on about last week? Pierre Fiera didn't get anywhere near the podium. It was Noodles that got P2. I apologise. I'm giving you a disservice. Yeah, and the 1 or 2 drivers having a bit of a toilet break. So, I do. So Monza's a very old school traditional track. Actually built in 1922. Took 110 days. And at that time, it was the world's 3rd purpose-built track after Brooklands and in Indianapolis. And similar to those tracks, the original circuit featured a daunting series of bank curves, which have since been taken out because it's such a fast, speedy track. There was so many accidents, so they've had to calm it down a little bit. But a lot of the back end of the track still exists, has its original layout, which is so keeps its original charm. A couple of tips for the drivers who focus on the exits of the corners. Make sure, especially the chicanes, you turn in on those first turns later than you expect, so you maximise your exit. Master your braking zones. Brake in a straight line. Don't brake and turn because you'll end up locking up easy. And just mind the curbs. We saw with FaZe Walker, the curbs can be lethal, especially on some of the chicanes. So just try and stay off them. Part of the original tracks. I've said it a few times recently. Tracks like Spa and Silverstone, part of the original calendar in 1950, the first ever F1 season, and Monza was one of them as well. Uses maximum horsepower, especially on the straights. Your full throttle 80% of the time, and drivers need to master the art of slipstreaming. There's plenty of opportunities to do so on this track, but you want to master it both for attacking and defending. Your ERS can get burned quite easily if you use it all straight away. There's not a lot of moments where you can let off and pull your ERS back in. So be careful with that. Noodle currently leads the way in the drivers, 119 points. Piero Fiero 54 points behind, and Marty another 15. Gio on 49, a point behind Marty. So still all to play for. It is a 20 race season, and we had a bit of shift around with drivers, and Noodle now has prime spot for the championship, but he is getting chased down by the McLarens, and Gio, who's set his wheels in motion by starting on pole. Ferrari still leads the way in constructors, 71 points behind, but Red Bull closing in, and they've got both drivers on the grid today. So still all to play for too. Should be starting, and we will be going round with the formation lap. Gio leading the way. And go by Piafiero. It's going to be a tricky first corner. It's really tight first corner on this track. We've got a long run down. People, like I said, will be jumping into the slipstream, trying to get ahead in the first corner, but as we learned from last week, everybody, and it does say medium to hard, as a strategy, or if you want to do two-stop, which Halley would avoid unless the safety car comes out. Yeah, last week we had quite a few incidents, quite a couple of safety cars, and it was down to poor driving, poor racing etiquette, and we want to see better this week. So Piafiero P2, Bo P3, Marty P4, Roy McLaren P5, Noodles P6, Ajay P7, centre back down to P8 with his grid penalty, Jade P9, Arlinus P10, and Faye Walker starting at the rear. So can he follow in the footsteps of his teammate from last week? Can he get to the front? And I think it was the race before, he did cross the line in P1 but had a penalty, ended up getting P3. And I felt sorry for the lad because a penalty, safety car cost him the race win. 5.8 kilometres, clockwise circuit, 11 corners, 7 to the right, 4 to the left, 2 DRS zones. First being after the second Lesmo, and the second DRS opening up at the start as you end the lap, and cars set themselves into their grid spots. You've got a really pathetic man there waving a flag. Come on, man, put your back into it. You're at a Grand Prix. Look like you want to get paid. As FaZe Walker is going crazy with his car, absolutely heating his tyres up. And everyone's settled in. No one's disqualified. It's 3 lights, it's 4 lights, there's 5 lights. It's lights out and away we go. And it looks like Gio's got off the line well. Marty and Roy gaining an advantage. Couple of places. Can the McLaren go on the inside? He's taken a look. He's left plenty of room by Gio. Piafiero's on the outside. Got a better traction off the corner. We've got a yellow flag, but I think it's just some cars banging wheels. Roy McCoy's the one that's lost out. He's now at the back behind Arlinus. Down 6 places. FaZe Walker straight off the line, up to P7, up to P6, showing his early pace that he didn't get to show. Ooh, nearly going off the track there, and ended up back down to P7. And everyone's decided, apart from FaZe Walker, starting on the medium, so FaZe Walker, if he can gain as much as he can on these tyres, and gain as many positions, then he'll be looking really good later in the race, as Roy manages to take Arlinus down into the Scari. And everyone seems to have made it through the first lap, which is good. Gio's managed to stay ahead. Marty jumping his teammate, getting up to P2. Noodles up to P4. And like he said in the chat, I know his pace. The front 4, the front runners have broken away from Ajay. He's already 2 seconds behind after lap 1. He's like a cork in the bottle. And sent back FaZe Walker. Jade will all want to try and get past as quick as possible. Jumping in his slipstream. Are they close enough to make that move? Piafiero slightly dropping his teammate. Is this some early time management from him? As Jade making the move on Phase Walker up to turn 4. Using the slipstream down the Curva Grande, making a great move as centre back. And Ajay defending well, is ahead, but DRS is open. Should be a move going down to Ascari. Is he going to be brave? He is, and slots right in front. Great move from centre back. The train all the way down to Bo. Roy and Olinus both out of the slipstream as Bo takes Phase Walker. Drade's looking on Ajay on the outside of the Parabolica. The brave move. He's made it stick. Brown, fantastic, and he will have DRS as well. As Noodles is slightly dropped now from the front 3. He needs to get back in DRS as Marty makes the move down to turn 1. Gio's defending the inside line. The door is closed by Marty. Phase Walker making the move on Ajay. Ajay's lost a couple of places. And Bo has taken 2. Centre back moving up the grid as well after his grid penalty. Andrade is now the leader of the pack. Noodles still staying as Ajay's taken Phase Walker. Was that on the first Les? No, that was out turn 4 and 5 before the Lesmos. The DRS will be open now for Phase Walker to try and take the position back. The centre back and Bo both take Drade. You're sitting duck in the DRS zone if you don't have it. There's Noodle closing in, trying to get back in the DRS before the zone, but he isn't. And we'll lose a little bit more time down the straight now. As Gio will look to take back P1 in turn 1. Looks on the outside. There's nothing Marty can do. It's a long straight. Defends from his teammate as Bo and centre back battling as Bo jumps ahead. Phase Walker taking a look in turn 1, but isn't close enough to make the move. With the cars battling ahead. Noodles may get back into DRS as he's closing in down the Curva Grande. And it looks like he has. I think he's just used a bit of DRS just to get himself back in with DRS after the Asmos. Skids round his back end a little bit loose. I don't think he's got it. I think he's just out. He'll be kicking himself. Sent back really close to Bo. Drade looking with intent. Bo's looking on the inside and makes a move before the Ascari chicane goes wide. He'll have to give that position back. And he does, as he's gone offline. He'll be vulnerable to Drade as well. And Drade does make that move. It won't help his track limits. And it's a big bunch as Phase Walker takes Roy McCoy. Roy McCoy's got back into it and Bo's gone. I think a bit of contact and he's dropped back to the back of this queue. The 6-car train is it. Look at them all jostling about. And centre back and Phase Walker are taking advantage. Phase Walker leaves plenty of room for Ajay. Ajay's on the outside of turn 2. Great driving from these 4. You see plenty of people squeezed out. It's such a tight chicane, but very respectful. As Drade down the Curva Grande on the inside of turn 4. And centre back saw him come in, left him room. Roy McCoy and Bo battling as well. And Roy stays ahead of the Lesmos. Ajay's lost it. Lost traction on the first Lesmo. Did he manage? I think he kept it out of the wall so he can keep going. Sharp break, but it's now 4 seconds behind. And we'll have Olinus for company. And Bo is the first one with track limits. Gutierrez getting ahead of his teammate for the Parabolica. Both will have DRS on Gio. Can Gio defend? These McLarens have got to work together if one of these wants to win the race. Pierre is closing in, but Gio defends, positions his car well, and stays ahead for this lap. Centre back up to P5. FaZe Walker looking inside of turn 1 of the Red Bull. Again, plenty of space. FaZe Walker managed to keep it on track, but I think the Red Bull forced him onto the curb and a bit of gravel, so he's lost a bit of traction. He's under threat now from Beau and Roy McCoy. Beau's taken 2 cars to the other side of turn 4 and made it stick. FaZe Walker better traction, just pushing Beau out of the corner. Marty has jumped ahead of his teammate, and Pierre Fierro is, I think, has had a bit of an issue. He's disconnected. He's disconnected, and that brings Noodle in play. And Noodle now up to P3. I don't think I can't invite Pierre Fierro. I'm not friends with him. Or am I? Let me have a look. I don't think I am. I'll take a look. I don't think I am. I don't think I'm friends with him. I'm not. I'm sorry. I can't invite you. Hopefully you can get back in again. As we speak, Beau is down to P11. And Pierre Fierro's back in and Ajay's lost it again. Went late on braking on turn 1. And Pierre Fierro, as he jumps in his car again, it's still ghosted. And now down to P7. It's unfortunate not having P8. Hopefully he's back in his car and can rescue this race for him in the McLaren team. As Drade is now he's getting overtaken by Sentak. I was going to say the Red Bull's looking good. As Ajay takes Beau. Beau has lost it, come out the second Lesmo. Damaged his wing. And he's going to have to dive in the pits now. Just jump on the hards and go for a longer second stint. Don't try and push it through the Ascari. Oh yeah, it does exactly that. Crashes his car. Where's his car gone? Why is his car not moving? Come on, Beau. Get in the pits. Come on, I'm watching you. As he's lost, is it all of his wing now? He's lost all his wing. I think this guy loses his head. And if he crashes out, then he just pushes it. I wouldn't be surprised if he's sped. Okay, jump in, pitch the hards, fresh hards. Get yourself going again. There's Roy, overtakes Drade. Down to Viscari. Ajay on Olinas. Olinas has lost it on the first Lesmo. And we've lost FaZe Walker, and the Viscari did exactly the same as he did in Quali. And my prediction of his podium is out the window, and that's great news for Beau, who's just pitted on hards. Saved himself some time coming out, and I think we'll see pretty much all these medium runners jump in for hards. No one be silly and get a speeding penalty. The Roy McCoy will have to double stack some of loose positions. Drade potentially 2. Drade, yep, slightly held up in the pits, and Pierre Fierro slightly 2. What did Beau just get a penalty for? Oh, Beau got himself a drive-through when he could have been it. He probably would have caught up anyway, but you just screwed yourself over. Gonzalez is now in the pits and going on some fresh hards. So that is everyone's mandatory pit stop out the way. And it means that everyone is in the same boat. Just Bo has to go in the pit again for a drive through once the safety car restarts. Oh. Sometimes as useful as a cup flavoured lollipop. And that is stupid. How do you get a time penalty? How do you get a track limits penalty under a safety car? Stupid. You got a sense of direction like a blindfolded moth. Just keep it on track. You don't even need to speed. You'll catch up to the pack. How have you gone off track under a safety car? Chump. So it's pretty much as you were. It's great news for people like Noodles, who was about 6 seconds behind the front two. Can he stay with them as long as possible? The safety car will be going round again as we're waiting for the Rollinus and Bose cars to catch up to the safety car restart. And that is bad news for Walker. We're getting points. Pierre Fieri is back with us though, so I think he'll be quite happy. Show some good pace at the start of this race. We'll look to make a couple of early overtakes and get himself back in contention for at least the podium and that race win. I'm just waiting for Bo's car to hurry up. Hopefully they'll catch up as the safety car leads us round again. I'll take a quick sip of my coffee while we wait. I love it. I love bread. Safety car coming round. Going 4 and 5. So he's diving in the pits, but I don't think he realises that he's absolutely screwed it. He's damaged his wing again. Did it change his wing? I don't think it changed his wing in his last pit stop. That he's gone off. I don't recall him going off. But he's had to pit again, change his wing, so it's a high chance that the safety car will be going round again. And we'll have to wait for Bo to catch up. Safety car is just coming up to the Ascari. And we'll know in a minute if safety car is coming in. I doubt it will though. I'll be very surprised if it does. It's going round again. We will wait for Bo. The safety car's feeling nice. It's a Mario. Actually been learning a bit of Italian. They got the Duolingo. I'm about 560 days in learning Spanish. I've just started learning Italian as well. Per favore. Grazie. Un cornetto. Cornetto, a yummy ice cream. Actually means croissant. Take that to the bank. Now the safety car restart's going to be a feisty one. Hopefully everyone behaves themselves. Generally it's like a fox in a hen house. There's absolute carnage, but been some decent standard already. I'd like to see it. Unfortunately we've lost one driver. Phase Walker losing it on his car. That's why our safety car is here. And Bo should catch up now. He's just come starting around this Curva Grande with his fresh trim of a wing. But then once the safety car goes, he will have to pit again to serve his drive-through. If he doesn't serve it, he will be disqualified. He is on some reasonably fresh medium, so he looks to be quite racy, but he will have a big, good 22 second gap maybe. Good evening. Where's Meisel? Where's Meisel? And the safety car is in. Hey, PDH. You sound like you're from a pharmacy. As Gio is holding up the pack now. You see all the cars warming up their tyres. Gio will hold the pack up as much as possible. 1.1 kilometres straight. Down to turn 1. You're going to be vulnerable from the slipstream. You don't want to go too early. When will he go? He's gone. He's gone. You can't speed up and slow down. You can't concertina, and Marty's stuck with him. He's on him like a tramp on chips, and Gio's defending the slipstream. You can only do one defensive move, and that's a bit too many moves there. That was too many moves. I'd be complaining about that. Marty brakes really late. Bo makes a move on Holiness. Locks his wheels but keeps it going. Now he's at one place, but he of course has to pit. Marty looking on the outside curve, Grandi, but slots in being the slipstream. Gio has the inside line. Defends the corner. Marty is pushing him round though. 2/10 behind. As all drivers go round single file after the restart. Marty's a little bit wide. We'll get a warning, a track limit warning there. If he doesn't, I'd give him one anyway. DRS will be activated after this lap. It of course won't be active down the start-finish straight. So Marty will want to use that DRS. Noodles is right on his gearbox, the same with centre back. There's the train. Roy is looking on Pio Fiero. And is still ahead. Pio Fiero looking racy, getting back to the position near where he qualified. His DRS is now enabled. Looking, keeping it straight as Noodles taking a look into turn 1. Late dive from centre back. Noodles saw him coming, left him space. And that was a late move as Roy Grande. It's a 4-car battle going down the curve of Grande. Pio Fiero on the outside, looking inside of turn 4. We'll have the corner. Left plenty of space by Roy. Brakes later, and has taken the position up to P5. And need to make back that second half gap from the front. 4 cars ahead. Santa back all over, brakes late and finds himself into the gravel. He's going to lose a couple of positions here. Got dirty tyres as well. Pio Fiero just on his right hand side, slots in behind. The centre back squeezing as Roy. Oh, brave move from Roy. Goes off the track slightly. As Bo goes off the track, keeps it out of the wall though. Woo, that was close. Lose it on the curve on the Ascari. Fiero's slotted behind Roy. We've got DRS open now. Marty's going to be looking to take P1 from Gio. I've just been talking about Bo. Noodles closing in as well. As Holiness has taken from Bo to serving his drive-through. Noodles not close enough to make that overtake. Pio Fiero takes position on Roy and Adji Andrade. Andrade trying to fight back on turn 2. But has to slot behind to try and take it back on the curve of Grande. Using that slipstream. As Roy is looking on Pio Fiero, but staying in formation. Noodles has managed to stick back with the front 2, but they've dropped centre back after his trip off the second Lesmo. He's managed to compose himself a little bit. Can he get back and join the front 3? As Gio is all over the back of Marty. Marty's going to be vulnerable as Noodles showing great early pace. Taking a look as Roy takes position back from Pier Fiero will look at taking that position in the back, going down with the DRS. But is this going to be a two-car overtake on Marty? There's a yellow flag from Bo. He's gone up on the Ascari. He's in the wall. There's no cars near him, so safety car won't come out. Has he got damage again? It looks like that he does, so he's going to have to go in the pits again. As Gio's retaken P1. Pier Fiero has taken a position back from Roy. Is he going to go in the pits? He's got a damaged wing. Keep it on the track, my guy. Go and change your wing. He'll have to go back on those hards. I think there's a pit assist because he's sped in there. Centre back has joined the front three now, so it's a 4-car race for P1. 12 laps to go. Centre back's composed himself. And what I say to these guys is keep it on track. Don't let your position be decided by penalties. Let's have a fight for the podium. As Marty takes a quick look into turn 11. And we'll look to retake P1. Roy McCoy right on the back of Pier Fiero. Come out the Parabolica. This should be an easy overtake, an early overtake it is. As Drade is looking to overtake Adjay as well. It should be an easy enough overtake. Would Drade take Pier Fiero as well into turn 1 in the inside? Not close enough, and it's just ahead of Adjay. Adjay left him plenty of room. Didn't really have anywhere to go as Bo has lost it. Out of turn 4 in the gravel. Please don't tell me he's got more wing damage. He doesn't. He's struggling. Bo is struggling. There's going to be laps now by the front runners. As Adjay is taking position back from Drade. Coming out the second Lesmo. Drade will have DRS as well as Adjay, so he won't be able to retake it. It's a good battle here between these four. It's like a 2x2, even though they're all in a DRS train. And the same with these four. Mainly Marty and Gio switching positions. Noodle waiting with intent in case there's a slight collision between the two, but they're both looking strong as Gio takes position. Centre back showing his pace. Noodles is having a look on the inside of Marty and will get himself up to P2, leaving each other plenty of space. Noodles has to slot behind, defended well there from Marty. The centre back will have good traction off turn 2 and will look to take a position of P3 off Noodles. Noodles was compromised from his line, but will have the inside of turn 4 and will take P2. Martin's defending his position and centre back has to slot behind, otherwise he would have ended up on the grass, would have got squeezed out. Bo needs to move out of the way here. He's compromising the racing. He's a back marker now for all his incidents. He needs to move out of the way. Let these guys battle. The centre back is having a look on the inside of the first turn of Scari and has to slot behind. With the battling with these three, Gio has forced himself a 2-second gap and is storming away. Centre back righto in the gearbox of Marty. And Noodles will be under threat. Gio is now, without having a battle with Marty, showing his pace. Centre back now taking position from Marty. He's on the inside of turn 1. Marty will have the inside of turn 2. Defends well. Centre back will try and fight down the Curva Grande. Marty positions his car well. Bo needs to get out of the way. You can't fight with other cars when you're a back marker. You've got a yellow flag. Is that Arlinus? Arlinus has lost it out of turn 1 and 2. And centre-back is the first of the front runners to get himself a penalty, which could cost him a podium. Almost goes flying off on the second Lesmo. He's had a bit of an incident there earlier. And he will still manage to retain P2. And with the battling, it's brought the cars from behind him. So he's now got a train from Noodles. As Bo has lost it on this Ascari again. At least that's got him out of it. And he's damaged his wing again. This guy, man. He's as useful as a chocolate fire guard. Jeez. So we've got a train where Noodles is now under threat from centre back. He's going to get himself up to P2. Nice and easy. Noodles can't really do much on the defence of that. But we've got train as Bo drives in the pits and retires. It was only a matter of time. We've got a train all the way down to Ajay. Andrade is dropped in now in P8, 3 seconds behind this train. And Alinus running his own rate as Marty's now got himself ahead of Noodles up to P3 on turn 4. There's Ajay taking a look on Piero. He hasn't managed to improve that much. The yellow flag is for Bo's car coming out the pits. Eventually Bo is retired, and we do thank him for that. For doing that and not retiring in an unsportsmanlike way. So yes, thank you Bo. Gio now 3 seconds ahead of P2. Centre back who's got that on at the moment. But Marty, Noodles within close range, going to be fighting like a viper. Good traction off the corner. Roy McCoy looking with intent as well. He's got himself into the fighting position as Marty takes now the position of P2. Noodles going to fight for a centre back. Centre back defends well into turn 1. And still got that train going. 7 laps to go. 8 laps if you include this one. That Alinus has lost again. He's just going really slow, like a turtle in peanut butter. Gio, the guys ahead have closed slightly. If they can work together, they can close that 3 second gap to Gio. But they will be battling. All single fire going down to the Ascari. Centre back is pushing Marty round. Then nose to tail, all the way down to P7. This podium is up for grabs as Roy takes the place of Noodles, going down to the Parabolica. Great move, and the Williams driver now pushing hard. I can see some carbon fibre from someone's low downforce setup. Noodles looking to fight back Roy as the Williams driver centre back takes Marty, getting himself up to P2. Noodles has the inside of turn 1, and Roy doesn't risk any damage for himself, knows that there's plenty of time to go. And good respectful drive in front of them all again. Centre back the one with the penalty, so he's going to want to be the most aggressive, I think, of trying to get a higher position and get himself some distance from the cars behind. But it's a tricky one when you've got this train behind you. Still just under 3 seconds from Gio in P1. The time slightly dropping as each lap goes by, but time will run out. There's Marky then P3 in the train, and Noodles P4. Roy McCoy P5. It's a yellow flag, it's Alinus again. He's lost it on turn 4, on turn 5. Piero P6. Not managed to make the strides that I thought he would. And Ajay P7, the back of the train. Just waiting to see if someone messes up and capitalising. Brakes quite late and almost hits the back of Piero. Which we thought it would compromise his exit, but he's actually got great traction in the corner, and Piero might be under threat here from Ajay as Marty gets himself back to P2. Piero and Ajay looking on the side, but pulls out at the last minute. Didn't want to again risk his close position with Piero. So as we were again, it's just the top two that keep switching places, but they are closing in on Gio. They need to close in a bit quicker. Piero makes a move on Roy into turn 4 and made that one stiff. And with overtakes, especially when you're stuck in a DRS train, it's choose your moment. As Ajay, as I speak, when I say choose your moment, Ajay, that isn't one of them. You don't do it on the second Lesmo, and I don't think Roy will be too happy with about that. The centre back makes the overtake up to P2 before the Ascari. Ajay, silly move that one, my friends. And Roy will be giving you an Italian hand gesture. We are in Italy. You'll be getting one of them, I'm sure. And Roy's now out of that DRS train. And Strade closing in. Can you capitalise on Roy's misfortune? Gio has managed to find a bit extra seconds, a few tenths as Marty now in the DRS. Gets himself up to P2. All the while, Noodles is closing in. Can he take P3? He isn't close enough. Piero now looking for attention. Ajay had to drop back because of that incident with Roy. So our 6-car train is now down to a 4-car train for the podium. And as I speak, actually, Piero's had a bit of a error and has dropped out of the DRS. I've managed to find it. The centre back right on the gearbox to Marty. Will he look to overtake down the DRS down to the Ascari? Marty a little bit lost of traction coming out the second Lesmo. Centre back will have better traction and DRS and makes that move down to turn 8. Always a great overtake when you do that, because as soon as you slot into the racing line, then it's a quick flick of your left turn of your wheel. And a quick left, right, left. It's like being in the army. Left, right, left. Martin now retaking the position of P2. Start of lap 24. Gio's still within touching distance, but they're not closing fast enough. And it's down to Gio now. He doesn't want to get any stupid penalties. As Noodles managed to make the battle in here with centre back down the Curva Grande. He's on the outside, which means he'll have the inside of turn 4. Is he ahead in the corner? I don't think he is. I think he went quite wide on the Curva Grande. As Marty, I think he's lost traction coming out of turn 5 and has lost a couple of positions. And it would have come down to a mistake. I think he's either clipped the curb or lost traction on turn 5 and has dropped a couple of positions. Noodles now up to P2. He was P2 anyway with the centre back penalty, but he's now got it on track. And he'll be absolutely thrilled as he defends his line going into Parabolica. Centre back, of course, will have DRS. And Piero has found himself in a prime position for a podium 2. As DRS will be open for both. Noodles is a sitting duck, already losing position for centre back. Will Piero be able to take the position 2? He does, and Noodles is down to P4. Marty under threat from Ajay. And Roy is now dropped back a bit from that pack. Gio all the while pulling away. 3.8 seconds ahead of his nearest rival on track. And his win will only be compromised by either penalties or his own mistake on track. All the while, the race for P2 and P3. And it's a 4-car battle. Marty's still within play. All it takes is a bit of an error or a mistake between two drivers. He's just closing a couple of tenths, and Roy gets himself a penalty as well. It's a yellow flag, and that is Alanis again losing it on turn 5. Struggling to find his turn in. As Marty, while he is closing in, so I think within this next lap he'll be within DRS and in a position for a podium. Piero takes P2. Is Noodles close enough to take P3? He's on the inside turn 1 and he is in position. The corner is his. Squeezed by centre back. Noodles has to go wide on turn 2, which compromises his exit. As Roy is now jumping in the pits, jumping on some softs, going for a fastest lap. Marty has dropped back a bit as well. That DRS hasn't helped his charge for podium position. Currently, Piero has prime P2 slots, but the car's behind. As Marty gets himself a penalty as well, so that is his podium out the window now. So he just needs to keep himself there. He needs to pull away from Ajay. As centre back gets himself back up to P2. Noodles takes a look, but isn't close enough. Yeah, so Marty's mission now is to get that 3-second gap from Ajay behind him. He's got another 1.2 seconds to find with 1 lap to go. Gio on the final lap as he crosses the line. 4 seconds, so it's nice, smooth finish for him. As Piero jumps back up to P2. Noodles is taking a look on the outside turn 1 as well. Different strategy from him, but centre back brakes later and retains that P3 on track. As Drade jumps in the pit for some softs as well. I don't know why he is. It doesn't mean anything. You haven't got time to set a fastest lap. You should have just kept going. So we all learn. We all learn. As Roy's up to P7. And I think Drade is within his penalty, so we'll take P7, but it's all on track now. The centre back retakes P2 before the Ascari. Before the Ascari. Gio is now coming down to the final corner around the Parabolica. And it keeps it on track nice and smooth, no reason to risk anything. Comes home and crosses the line and wins the Monza Grand Prix for Max Verstappen division. Centre back will cross the line in P2, but Piero will take P2, Noodle will take P3, centre back P4, Marty coming home in P5, and 4 hundredths ahead of Ajay. Managed to get that 3 seconds that he needed. Roy McCoy, will he set the fastest lap? Will come home in P7, but will get jumped by Andrade. He does set the fastest lap. Andrade taking P7, Roy P8, and then Alanis coming round. Had his own little race, but practice. Don't go off the track, what are you doing? Alanis coming home and finishing P9. Well done to him. Yeah, keep the best way to practice is by staying on track. Centre back getting driver of the day. I probably wouldn't give it to him because he got that penalty. It's no problem, Noodles. Happy to do it when I'm free. Congratulations to Gio. Gets himself that P1. Piero getting P2, and Noodles on the podium as well. He did trust himself, his own pace. And this is your final run order. So Gio getting that pole and end up finishing on P1, 5 seconds ahead of Piero in P2. Noodles getting himself up to P6, and centre back up to P4. You did say P3, and to be fair, I'd probably give you driver of the day, you know, getting yourself a podium from P6. Again, give it to centre back, but he did get that penalty and cost himself a podium. So, Marty getting P5, Ajay P6. Bit of a risky dive on Roy. I think that'll probably be one to the stewards. Try to get himself up to P7. He'll be happy with that. Roy, but B8, what could have been for him? He was racing, very racing at the end. Could have got a podium. Arlinus P9, and then we lost Bo, and he retired in the pits. And FaZe Walker crashed out on the Ascari. So there you have it. That was race 12. Next week, please join us for race 13 of season 2, and it will be at the very tricky race of Singapore. And it's been my pleasure to have you for joining you all. See you all next week. Peace out.